morning, welcome to another solo run on the RetroBrown channel. Today we are in Pokemon Gold, doing a Houndour Solo Run. The Dark Fire type dog Pokemon. And you know what? This is a personal favourite of mine because it just looks so cool. Like, I much prefer this Pokemon to the likes of Growlithe and Arcanine. It's just cooler. Like, that Dark type is amazing. Either way. It's a good Pokemon and from my perspective anyway, but let's see how we do with the run. It's got a base stat total of 330, majority of that's put into its special attack and its speed, which to be fair, it makes it a bit of a glass cannon considering it doesn't have great HP, doesn't have great defense, and doesn't have great special defense. But its attack's quite good, special attack's definitely the best stuff, so we'll definitely be focusing on that. We start off with two moves with Leer and Ember. Ember will be a great move, especially for the early game considering it's a special type move. But you know what? When it comes to the rivals Pokemon that we will be choosing, it's not very good whatsoever. Either way, we progress ourselves all the way over to Mr. Pokemon's house. But while we're doing that, let's have a look at the level up moveset. At level 7 we will get the move Roar, which is kind of pointless for us. Smog at level 13, again kind of pointless, it is a very, very bad move. 20 power, 70% accuracy, why would you ever use this move? What we're aiming for though is level 20 where we can get the move Bite, which is a great move. I think in Gen 2, Dark type is special only, so it means we're actually going to be able to make use of that high special attack. But ultimately what we will be aiming for is level 35 with Flamethrower. It's a great move to have and with the stab damage even more powerful. We get a decent TM move set to work with as well with Fire Blast, which we can get in Goldenrod City, we can get Mud Slap. There's a lot of good moves that we can use there. Let's see how we do against a rival who will of course have Totodile, which means it's going to be the hardest matchup for us. Even though Totodile does not have the greatest water moveset to be using, here even though it's only got Scratch to work with, it's actually a pretty hard matchup and we do lose because of our low defenses and him using special attacks. Another reason why I wanted him to use Totodile, because there we go, it means that we will have the hardest matchup. Our rival for today is going to be Vic the Quick. Thank you for subscribing, welcome to the channel, and I hope you do very, very well in this video. Yeah, we're going to have to go with Vic Quick because we don't have much character space to use. Once we hand the Mysterious Egg over to Professor Elm, we can progress on with this run and get started. And that means that our first destination is going to be Violet City, where we can go against Falkner, the flying type trainer. I don't want to call him a master because he's got level 7 Pidgey and level 9 Pidgeotto. Like, how does that make you a master of the flying types? Lance is the flying type master. Youngster Joey is not going to stand up to our Pokemon whatsoever, and at level 5 we can beat him quite comfortably. We're going to go straight for Falkner though because there's not much to do in Sprout Tower and we can take out most of the Pokemon quite comfortably. But I think Houndour is good enough to actually do this at the level cap. Well, I say the level cap, we'll level up to level 10 as we go into the second Pokemon. But Ember is just that good of a move, we take it down in 3 hits. That gives us the first badge on our first try, and we can get the TM for Mud Slap, which will definitely help us out in the Azalea rival fights. Progressing down towards the next tunnel, we go against Youngster Garden, who I didn't want to go against because we have got no good moves to take him down, and 2 water guns can one-shot us. So yeah, that's a Pokemon trainer you need to watch out for if you decide to do a Houndour only run. But once we finally get to Azalea Town, we can go against the Rockets here. Now I go into this fight already poisoned, and with Mud Slap as our best move to be using here apart from Ember, we're going to get yeah, we lost that. Scratching that though, once we actually do get through, we're going to go straight to Bugsy's gym because we can get some well needed experience here. We are very low leveled here, but even with that low level I feel like we'll easily sweep this gym with just Ember alone. It is a great move to have in this early game, considering Fire type is honestly really, really good in Gen 2. It's just you don't get many Fire type Pokemon to work with, which is kind of annoying, but you know, that's all you can really work with. Going into the Bugsy fight as well, yeah, we don't really have to worry too much really. We're going to have to deal with all of his trainers before we go in though, and to be honest, I want to go against that guy with the Beedrill because it gives you quite a lot of experience. Bugsy though should not be a problem, even though Bug is super effective against Dark types, but Ember is a one-shot on pretty much most of his Pokemon apart from the Cypher. We managed to burn it as well, which really mattered because it leaves us with 1 HP going into the Kakuna. And at level 15-16 we beat Bugsy with just 1 Pokemon, even while we're dealing out a lot of damage with, well, we're taking a lot of damage with Fury Cutter. But that leaves another problem, that is the rival in Azalea Town, which, honestly, I feel like it's the hardest incarnation of this rival, because at this level, you haven't really got a very wide team. And of course, if you choose the Pokemon that is weak to you, then yeah, Croconaw is just going to do tons of damage with Water Gun. So what did we have to do to get through this? Well, we had to go up to level 20 to learn Bite. That way we can get through the first couple of Pokemon pretty comfortably, and with the flinch chance that it has on Bite, we can get through without losing pretty much any of our HP. So Bite is very, very useful for that aspect, for the fact you can actually get those flinch chances on. Moving on to Goldenrod, of course, we want to try and get the TM for return, but we don't also have the required friendship. So if you don't have the required friendship, what you can do is go down to the underground and get a haircut. Because apparently getting a haircut increases your friendship with someone. Who'd have thought? We are going to take some time in the game corner as well, because there is a move here that we want to go and learn, but this is going to take a little bit of time to get, because you know what? Gambling is kind of hard in this game. Look at that. I like gambling. Don't gamble, kids. It is very addictive. But considering this is a Pokemon game, you don't have to worry all too much. It's not real money. All you're doing this for is to get the TMs, and we want the TM for Fire Blast. So let's see how we do against Whitney. Biggest problem about Whitney is her Miltank, and the reason why that's a problem is because Rollout is a rock type move, and we're weak to rock. So 2 rollouts will completely destroy us. So we need to think of something different here to get through this fight. What can we do differently? Let's see what we do. Well, at level 23 we can outspeed the Clefairy quite comfortably, and this time Fire Blast is a one-shot with a critical. That's all we were hoping for, is the critical hit, because Fire Blast can one-shot that Miltank with a Houndour. With 3 badges in tow, we can then progress on to the next town, which will be a very easy matchup for us because the Dark type is super effective against Ghosts. So once we've taken out all of his gym trainers, and this just proves that it is super effective, Bite is just a one-shot throughout his entire team. We don't even get cursed once, and we get some well-needed experience for going into the Morty fight. We can also learn Feint Attack at level 27, which is well, it hits every single time, so that's going to even help. It's going to help us out even more for the Morty fight when we know we can just take him out in one. Let's see how we do. Morty starts off with his Ghastly, and as long as we outspeed, this is pretty much our fight. Haunter, we even outspeed as well, and Feint Attack's a one-shot. He goes for his second Haunter instead of the Gengar first, though, which is unusual. And this time he goes for Shadow Ball, which is super effective against us. Well, super effective, does massive damage. Either way, we managed to tank it and get the 4th badge on our first time, and then we can progress on to Olivine, where we go and start Medicine side quest, leading us over to Cianwood City, which gives us a big challenge really, because we are also, as weak as we are to bug types, we're also weak to fighting types, and we're going against a fighting type gym. So how are we going to get through this? Chuck starts off with Primeape, and Fire Blast is going to do big damage, but we get down to 3 HP after just 1 Karate Chop. Really, we're not in a very good matchup here against this Poliwrath. It's got Surf, it's got Dynamic Punch, both moves which are super effective against us. Ideally what we want is that Primeape to miss, bringing us into using Shadow Ball. Reason why we want Shadow Ball is because it lowers special defense, meaning each subsequent attack of it that lowers defense will do more and more damage. Thankfully, Dynamic Punch works in our favour as well, and we managed to get the badge on the second try, giving us the HM for Fly, and we can go back over to Jasmine's gym. And we are going to go against Jasmine straight away because we have Fire Blast in our moveset, and she is completely weak to Fire-type Pokemon. This is why Fire types are so good in Gen 2, because the Steel type was introduced, and it's a good counter. Let's see how we do. Now the big problem with this fight is if we get paralysed by the Magnemite, so we need to hit all of our Fire Blasts, and Fire Blast doesn't have 100% accuracy. If you don't have 100% accuracy, you have none. And we take a loss to a Rock Throw from the Steelix. Pretty much what we need is to one-shot each of our Pokemon with Fire Blast, otherwise Rock Throw is going to do massive damage, but thankfully this time, second time round, Fire Blast hits each time. That gives us 6 gym badges, and we can progress on to the next part of the game. Next part of the game, of course, is going to be the Rocket side quest, so we need to go to the Lake of Rage. And big challenge at the Lake of Rage is, of course, the Gyarados, who will have Water-type moves to deal with, But at the same time, our low defenses aren't going to do too well if he decides to use Thrash instead. So we'll see how we do here. The red Gyarados comes out and we're going to go straight for the bite. So that way we can get the flinch chances. And he uses Dragon Rage, of course, which deals nearly half our damage. But we level up to level 35 where we can get Flamethrower. So we're going to get rid of bite for now because we're going to get Crunch level 43. Crunch is a much more powerful move. And you know what? Can't go wrong with it, can you? We do lose that flinch chance, I think, because I don't think Crunch does have flinch chances. Or at least I never saw it in the rest of my game when I used it. Once we've seen Lance Hyper Beam the Rockets, we'll go through and take on the Rockets here. I would have rather have taken both these on at the same time, but you know what? Lance comes to help us out. We didn't really need his help though, because our Houndour is just a beast of a Pokemon. This is a really good Pokemon, and it always really saddens me when I play this game and realise the best Gen 2 Pokemon are locked behind Kanto. Yeah, you have to complete the full game and then complete Kanto before you get access to some of these Pokemon. It's really annoying. Let's see how we do against Price anyway, and this is the Ice-type gym, so we should do pretty good here. Even going against the Seal and Dugong, which are Water-Ice, we don't do too badly against them. They don't have any Water-type moves from top of my head, so we're going to go for Shadow Ball and Bite to try and do decent damage against them. Piloswine is outlasting it is weak to Fire-type moves, so we take it down with one Flamethrower, getting us the 7th badge. That means we need to now contend with the Rocket side quest, so we head back over to Goldenrod City and get that started. I'm not going to bore you with all of mandatory fights that go here, so we're just going to go straight to the Underground and we'll see how we do against the next rival fight. Once you've used the basement key, let's see how we do. This is the second hardest rival fight in the entire game, if I'm being honest. Even though you've got one more coming up afterwards, you've kind of got enough levels from all of these fights that it should be easy enough. Feraligatr is still a big problem though, so we have to rely on Bite and the flinch chances that we get. But we're down to 32 HP and we've got a few Pokemon left to go. Bite is still a one-shot against the Haunter. Flamethrower will one-shot the Magnemites. And the Sneasel will also go down to a Flamethrower, but we nearly lost there to a Quick Attack. Because we don't have great defenses, as I've said earlier. 30 base defense is pretty terrible. And it pretty much puts Houndour and Houndoom in the glass cannon sort of category. When we go against the... Well, I think it's Archer at the top of the radio tower. We go against our brethren here with the Houndoom. We take it down with a couple of crunches, and we take a comfortable win at level 44. That brings us over to the 8th badge, which of course is going to be Claire, the Dragon-type trainer. Now, considering we don't have a super effective move to work with here, this could be problematic. But of course, again, we also have to deal with a lot of the Dragon types that like Water-type moves in this gym. And of course, they also like Dragon Rage, and we don't have the greatest of attacks to work with. This time round, we go against 2 Dratinis, and again, Fire just can't stand up to Dragon Rage here. And we take another loss against this guy for the subsequent video. I wonder if on the next video if that's going to be the same thing as well. We opt for using Crunch because it's a much more powerful move. And we head off towards Claire. But a lot of these trainers here, they also have the likes of Seadra because it is the pre-evolution to the Dragon Water-type Kingdra. And that's going to be an interesting run when it comes up. I want to use a Kingdra because I've never actually used Kingdra before. Because with it being a trade evolution with an item, I just never got it. Yes, I had siblings that I could trade with, but by the time you got a Horsey in this game, you got the Dragon Scale or whatever it was that need to evolve with. Yeah, I just couldn't be bothered using it when there were other good water types to be using. I would say, you know, Gen 2 is actually pretty good for its water types. It introduced the likes of Lantern, Mantine, which honestly I quite rate. Anyway, let's see how we do against Claire for the Rising badge. Dragonair is out first, and to be fair, we just want to one-shot all of her team, because most of them have Surf, especially the Kingdra, and it takes us out. So yeah, we need to think of something different. Well, the only thing different I could think of was to level up, and we had to go to level 55 before we could one-shot the Dragonairs with Crunch. Crunch just being the best move that we had here for this team, and one-shotting most of their Pokemon. We do manage to get paralysed because Crunch low rolls on it. It low rolls twice on 2 Dragonairs, but wow. There we go. That is 8 gym badges done with just a Houndour, and that progresses on to the Pokemon League. But before the Pokemon League, of course, we always have our last rival fight. So Vic the Quick, here you are, let's see how you do. This time he starts off with Sneasel, which will go down to a Flamethrower, and we head up to level 57. Feraligatr is out next, and one Crunch does over half damage. We don't take too much damage from a Water Gun, and Flamethrower takes out the Golbat. Next up is the Haunter, which we'll use Flamethrower again for, and then Kadabra is out pretty much last, goes down, and then Magneton is out last. I got that wrong. Pretty easy fight. The previous fight was definitely a lot more difficult. That brings us to the Pokemon League, and of course, the first Elite Four member, Will the Psychic type. Will is not going to be a problem for us, really. Crunching our way through this entire fight, we are going to have a very easy time. Even against the likes of the Slowbro, we're not going to worry too much about this fight whatsoever. I'm more worried for Bruno. Bruno being a fighting type trainer with Pokemon that have Mach Punch and Cross Chop, that's going to be a difficult fight for us to take on. But beating Will first time, we move on to Koga. Now, with quite a big majority of his team being weak to fire type moves, we're not going to worry too much about this fight, really. This is why fire types are so good in Johto, because it's just powerful against a lot of major trainers. We do take a lot of damage to Sludge Bomb and do take a loss to Koga, but that was pretty much just down to the fact that he used Minimize. I can't use Evasion move, so that is cheating Koga. We take down his first two Pokemon the same as before, bringing us into that muck. This time we go for Fire Blast and he goes for Minimize again, but this time we hit and move on to the Crobat, where Fire Blast nearly one-shots it. He uses his full restore up and we start missing our flamethrowers thanks to the evasions, and then we get Toxic, so we're in a bad position right now and we take a second loss because of his cheesy tactics. Koga, this time I will beat you. Flamethrower takes out his first two Pokemon the same, and the strategy is solid. It's just making sure we actually hit him because of these evasion lowering moves, which are just so annoying. This time, Full Restore gets rid of that. We do get Poison again, but we've only got one more Pokemon to work with, and it's a Bug type. So we take it down with one Flamethrower and beat Koga, but I didn't realise I would lose that many times to him. Let's see how we do against Bruno. Bruno's had a massive upgrade compared to the previous generation. This time he actually uses more fighting type moves. He's got Dig on his moveset for the Hitmontop, and he actually uses a Johto Pokemon. Yeah, he could have actually used a Steelix in this fight because he does have his Onyxes, but yeah, we do take a loss, and I was expecting that, really. We go up to level 61, where Fire Blast will now one-shot most of his Pokemon, and the worst thing is that Hitmonchan using Mach Punch because it will always hit first over our moves. We really should have used Fire Blast there to try and take it out in one. Next up is the Onix, who will go down to a Fire Blast, and we're hoping that we outspeed this Machamp to take it out in one Fire Blast. Doesn't happen, but he also gets a burn and misses Cross Chop. The burn damage takes him down, and we move on to Karen. Karen is a bit of a mixed bag. She's got a quite varied team, even though she's supposed to be a Dark type trainer. Even though quite a few of the Pokemon aren't even the Dark type, namely the Gengar and the Vileplume. I always wondered why she had Vileplume on this team, but the whole motif is the fact that she's supposed to be using Pokemon that are her favourites. And I guess, to be fair, but yeah, it's a weird Pokemon to have on this team, in my opinion. We actually lose to her Houndour, which is not great, so yeah, we need to try this again. Next up, of course, we need to try this again. We get the burn on the Umbreon this time round, and we just get much better luck this attempt. This time the Houndour, we're going to go for Crunch. We've got no moves that are super effective against it, but we are hoping for the special drops. We're on 35 HP going into our last two Pokemon. Vileplume goes down to a Flamethrower, and the Gengar will go down to a Crunch. Easy enough done when you get the right luck. But that brings through to the champion, and that champion is going to be a problem, especially with his first Pokemon. Let's see how we do, because this is going to be a difficult fight, and unless we can outspeed, we can do big damage out on that very first Pokemon, which of course, as you know by now, you've watched enough of my videos, it is Gyarados. We need to make sure he doesn't use Hydro Pump on us, because that will do a lot of damage, and I'm not looking forward to it. Lance, of course, he sends out his Gyarados, and we're going to go for the Crunches, hoping to try and take him down. He uses Rain Dance, bringing us into the Aerodactyl. Now, this is a problem because, really, we wanted to be using our Fire-type moves here for extra stab damage, but, yeah. Aerodactyl also has Rock Slide, which we are weak to because of our Fire-typing, so we need to try something different, and I opted for the move Attract. I do not consider this a banned move on my channel, and we also taught Iron Tail to deal with that Aerodactyl. So we now have Iron Tail, Fire Blast, Attract, and Crunch to work with. Crunch is doing good damage on the Dragonites, and 2 of them will take him down. After using Attract as well, it gives us another chance for them not to hit us. And from there, we just get lucky. We honestly do just get lucky, because any one of these Pokemon hits us, we're not doing too well on the defensive side. Slash does good damage on us. Crunch nearly takes him out in 1. And from here, it's just all we need to do to finish this fight. Crunch our way to the victory. And there we go. Houndour has become the Pokemon League champion, level 68. A lot higher level than I was anticipating, but it is a first stage evolution Pokemon, which makes me quite excited for when the Houndour run comes up. We finished at level 68, 1 off level 69, at 4 hours 33 in-game minutes. That's not bad. That's a decent run, probably about middle of the road. Quite happy with that, just not the level. So how do you think Houndour will do in Kanto? Well, I only ever show 2 major battles in Kanto, 1 because videos get long enough if you include every single gym fight, but 2 because the other gym fights are really not very noteworthy. So let's see how we do against Blue. Blue's varied team is going to be a problem in some circumstances. The Pidgeot can deal good damage out with Wing Attack, but one Fire Blast can take it down. Rhydon is out next, and Iron Tail is a 2-shot to beat it. Earthquake does massive damage on us because it does have high attack, so we need to think of something different. I could go for the Sunny Day Solar Beam strats, but that means that I'm limiting my move choices. Fire Blast is more than enough to take it down, and that brings us into Gyarados, where we use Attract, he uses Rain Dance, and hopefully 2 Crunches will take it down and he is infatuated. He managed to burn his full restore, bringing us into the next Pokemon, which is going to be the Arcanine. We don't have a great move to be using here, but Extreme Speed does a lot of damage on us. This time he goes for another full restore, and instead of a critical hit on Extreme Speed, we're on 47 HP going into the last 2 Pokemon. Fire Blast misses on the first one, so we opt to use Crunch for better accuracy. Last up was the Alakazam, which we outspeed with Crunch, and we get the second time win. So that's Red done. Sorry, that's Blue done. Let's move on to Red and see how we do against the Pokemon Master. Can this one doggo actually complete the entire game on its own? We'll soon find out. So, I've opted for a different moveset here. Fire Blast is easily our best move. We want to make sure we can Crunch and keep our Fire Blast with the sun up so that Water-type moves will not do all too much, but we need to use Crunch to take down Pokemon. Our attack and our special attack are really good, so level 91 here, wow, we still lose. Was the sun gone down at that point? Either way, Sunny Day, Fire Blast, Crunch and Attract, great moveset to have, but we're also not set up on any status, or any stat boosting moves whatsoever. So we need to take down this Blastoise as soon as possible, and thankfully Infatuation works in our favour this time round. Crunch is a 1-shot on the Espeon, and the Snorlax is out next. Now, we only got special type moves to work with. Crunch is not doing very much at all, but it does get special defense drops when needed. Fire Blast is probably going to be the best move to be using here, especially with Sunny Day, and thankfully Infatuation works in our favour. Brings us to his last 2 Pokemon, the first being Charizard, and we're going to go for Attract. Hopefully it works in our favour, and 2 Crunches will take it down. That just leaves... oh no, 3 Crunches, wow. Thankfully Infatuation's in our favour today. One final Fire Blast will take it down, and we have beaten the game with just a Houndour. I'm happy with that. We use no stat boosting moves. We were quite a high level, but to be fair, we don't really get many stat boosting moves that really work in our favour. Level 91, Houndour completes the game with Sunny Day, Fire Blast, Crunch and Attract. And what time do we do this? In 6 hours and 3 minutes. I was hoping to get under 6 hours, but either way, that's still pretty good. Wonder what we're going to get next. Let's spin that wheel and find out. First up, of course, is going to be Quagsire. It's been a while since we've done the Wooper run, so that could be an interesting choice. Okay, let's see what we get second. Second is Xatu. We've done the Natu run quite recently, really, compared to the Wooper run. Third up is Cyndaquil. Now, we've done Quilava, we've done Typhlosion. Now I think we should go for Quagsire in the next one. If you got to this point in the video, guys, please smash that like and subscribe. You legends, I really appreciate it. And we will see you next week for the Quagsire run. Take care.